Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist Barbecue. I'm Jeremy Yoder, and I'm here in Michigan visiting family with my brother James, and he's going to be cooking for us. We're not doing barbecue today. He's going to show us how he uses his sous vide to cook large pieces of meat for big groups of people. Alright, for any of you out there who don't know what sous vide is, in simple terms, it's just cooking something in a hot water bath. And so you can select the temperature and the time, but you put it in a hot water bath to cook. So I don't usually cook things with sous vide as a cooking method. I do low and slow barbecue. I'm using wood as the heat source. Cook things like brisket and pork butts and pork ribs and beef ribs, things like that. But what are we cooking in the sous vide today?
So today we've got a boneless beef rib roast and then a couple beef tenderloins. I'll stop it and give you an idea. We've been cooking these for a couple hours already at 129 degrees. Here's the rib roast. You can see that it's cooking in there. It's got all those juices. And down here, it's a little hot. We have the tenderloin. You can see those are two separate tenderloins in the bag there.
So I don't usually do sous vide, like I said, but what advantage do you think cooking with the sous vide gives you as opposed to other cooking methods?
So the real advantage, and it's kind of in the name of the sous vide, not to be corny, but it's the sous vide that I use is the Anova Precision Cooker. And the benefit is the precision. You get exactly one temperature the entire way through the meat because you're not guessing at an internal temperature by applying a high temperature to the outside and allowing the temperature gradient going through the meat. Instead, it's one temperature applied throughout the entire piece of meat the whole time.
Sure, so you could get like an edge-to-edge medium rare.
Exactly.
Not anything overcooked on the outsides.
Exactly.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Now, one other question I have is, I've seen sous vides before, but they're always in kind of this clear plastic bin, and you have it in a cooler here. Why the cooler rather than a clear plastic bin?
Well, I think it's a little bit of redneck ingenuity here. A cooler lets me conserve energy because it keeps all the heat inside rather than traveling through the outside of the cooler. And additionally, it's a broken cooler that I had in my garage and I needed a use for it. So it's a lot cheaper than spending $30 on a bin from Amazon. So
Sure. That makes sense. So about how long do you think it's going to take us to get this up to an internal temperature of 129?
I have done similar sized roasts before. I did 6 hours. Realistically, probably only about 4 hours. We've still got a couple hours left on this one.
Sure.
But we should be good to go here soon.
Okay. The question I had also was, I noticed that those were in the original vacuum sealed packages. So do you do all of your seasoning after it reaches its internal temperature of 129?
I do. Plenty of people season before they go into the bath. Personally, I don't like a ton of seasoning, so I'm normally seasoned with just salt or a little bit of thyme or something like that. Okay. This time, these were already sealed in the package from the store. I just threw them straight in. Once I take them out, I'm going to dry them off, cool the roast down, season, and then I'm going to put it in the oven as hot as I can get it going.
Sounds great. Okay, so what we're going to do is let these hang out until they reach the internal temperature of 129, and then we're going to take them and we'll show you what we'll do next. We'll come back for that. Oh, geez, living in California, you become very weak. I'm not kidding. My body temperature is now like 96.8 degrees. All right, as you can see, we pulled these 3 pieces of meat out of the sous vide here, and looks like they're wrapped in some paper towels. What's that about, James?
Well, we wrap them in paper towels to dry the outside of the meat. And you want the outside of the meat dry because if it's wet when you try to get a crust on the outside, all the liquid on the outside is going to absorb all that heat and evaporate off instead of cooking the meat on the outside, which is what we want ultimately, is a good crust on the exterior of the roast. And the reason we have them out here in 44-degree weather is to cool the outside of the meat down, because we don't want the heat we're applying to the outside to penetrate the meat. We want it to cool that down so it can absorb all of that heat without creating a gradient levels of doneness throughout the meat.
Okay, so you're gonna sear it. How are you gonna do that? On a grill, in an oven? What about that?
Well, today we're going to use an oven. We've got the oven going inside. It's preheated to 550. So here in a minute we're going to take these, unwrap them, pat them dry one more time. We're going to apply some salt and some pepper and just rub the entire outside of that down, and then put them in the oven for about 20 minutes at 550 and get a good crust on the outside.
Okay, so put it in a screaming hot oven, the dry outside with the seasoning, create that flavorful crust, and then hopefully because of the sous vide and we're allowing it to cool down now, we'll have the edge-to-edge medium rare that we wanted, right?
Exactly.
Okay, great. So we're going to show you that when we pull it out of the oven. Should have a nice crust, and you're going to season with what? Salt and pepper?
Yeah, just salt and pepper.
Okay, sounds great. Is that how you want to do it?
I don't know how else to get it.
Where the beast breaks down the fence and Benny the Jet Rodriguez
Benny the
is running through town.
The jet steals home. The jet steals home.
These.
Here is our rib roast. Remember, we brought it up to 129 in the sous vide, then we took it out, toweled it off, let it cool down a little bit, and then we threw it in a screaming hot oven and tried to get a good sear on the outside, and we did get a nice sear. Like if you can hear the sound of the metal from this knife hitting it, it's got a good crust there, and so that Maillard reaction that's taken place right there should be providing tons of flavor on the outside of that meat, and the inside should be pink and tender. So, with that in mind, we're going to cut off a chunk here and see how we did. All right, we got a lot of people to feed, but as you can see in this rib roast, we have a lot of perfectly done meat all in the center there, and we got a sear on the outside. So we're going to dig into this and hopefully have a great time with our family and enjoy this meal. All right, so thanks to James for cooking this meat for us. Cheers and Merry Christmas. That's tasty.
All right, let's eat. Sorry, everyone.
What if we had Sedona do the outro? Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, Sedona, will you do the outro, please?
Sedona would be so fun. Please.
Uh-huh.
Thank you guys for watching Mad Scientist Barbecue special Christmas dinner edition here. Doing something a little bit different than what we usually do. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mad Scientist Barbecue. See you next time.